Hey everybody, Scott Holmes, Little Miss Barbecue. First of all, I want to say thank you for buying the beef ribs from us. We hope you absolutely love it. Today what we're going to do is we're going to go over a couple of ways of cutting these. First one, we're just going to cut them into 3 different bones. Second way, we're going to go ahead and slice it. We're going to remove it from the bone, and then we're going to slice it like a roast. So you've gotten your brisket from us, or your beef ribs from us. You bring them home. Best thing to do is just throw it in the oven. I've got this one set on the warming, and ours holds at 170. Ideally, you want to hold it around 150. So what I do is I let it run for about 20 minutes. I turn it off for 20, back and forth, because I'm trying to maintain that 150 or so. This one's been sitting in here for a few hours. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it out. We're gonna go ahead and my camera assistant, Becky, is going to take some video. We're gonna reset up real quick. Well, we're gonna do this really quick in live time because we're not really good at that. But let's go ahead and do this, all right? So I'm gonna go ahead and grab this guy out. And when you get it, it's gonna be in butcher paper. So keep it in the butcher paper all the time, even if you get it cold. It's best to reheat it in that. So, oh yeah. Okay, perfect. So here we are, everybody. I've got that rack of beef ribs. We're gonna put this guy out. And here we are. So I've got a rack of beef ribs here. This paper is great if you ever need to start a fire. So you can keep that aside. Here is our rack of beef ribs. So you see we have 3 ribs here. 1, 2, 3. You've got a piece that's kind of like a triangle. You got this one that kind of comes down a little bit over here. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you if you want 3 individual ribs and you just want to eat it that way, perfect. You can just take the tip of your knife. We always use a 10 1/4 inch, what is this, a Victorinox 10 1/4 inch wavy bread knife. But I'm just gonna pop it right down between the bone, and I would just bring it back and forth. And whenever you're cutting meat, you always wanna think that you're one of those guys on those log cutting competitions that you see on ESPN 12 late at night, where they're doing all that fun stuff. You want to go nice long strokes. What we're going to do right now, what I'm going to cut is actually going to be our sliced beef short ribs. These are absolutely delicious. You might be able to see on the top here, you can almost see some of the striations of the muscle right there. So that's going to give me an idea of where we're going to have to cut this thing. I'm going to flip this over, and you'll notice that we've got a membrane on top here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this first one. I'm going to go ahead and cut through it. I'm just going to go right through it like that. And then I'm almost just going to score this one over here. And then I'm going to score this one over here. And then I'm going to score this one over here. And we're going to keep all this stuff because this is delicious. I'm going to show you what to do with it in a few minutes here. So I'm going to just kind of pull this guy out. I got my bone out of here. There's one bone. I'm going to put this aside. Here's a bone for the dog, if you have one. Otherwise, you can make some soup with it or something delicious. I've got my other bone right here. We're going to pull this one out. Dog for dog number 2. And then here's the third one for the neighbor's dog. And what I'm going to do now is you can see where I've taken all this out and I have the membrane here. So we're not going to keep this membrane on here for when we slice it, but you will use that. I'm going to show you what we can do with this later on. So I'm going to just take this, and be careful with it because it's super tender. So we're going to go ahead and take this guy, and I'm going to just slice that membrane right off. How's it going, Vivian? Our daughter Vivian's over there hanging out. She's ready for dinner, so we're going to make tacos with this tonight. So I'm going to take care of that membrane. I'm going to go ahead and pull this one off as well. And then I'm going to pull, that guy's looking pretty good. I'm going to pull just a little bit of that one off right there. Just a touch more. Oh, there we go. Perfect. All right. And then here we are. We've got all that out. I'm looking for big chunks of fat or anything like that. This one's looking really nice. Sometimes the more marbled these are, the more fat there is. So just kind of pay attention to that. And then you'll see we have different grain structure here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to follow the instructions we have because I believe it's the easiest way to do it. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and just start. We're going to cut it straight down the middle. Boom, 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 boom. Nice long strokes. And then you'll see we're kind of coming right across the grain right like that. And then you'll see I got a little chunk of fat right here. I'm just going to pull that out because Most people don't want to eat that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put this one aside, and I'm just gonna start cutting this. And basically what I do is I'm gonna cut this about 3/8 to a 1/2 inch. If you're looking for a quick cheat, it's a width of a Sharpie, your typical Sharpie, not the super fat one, but your typical Sharpie. So there you go, and then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So depending on how many people you have, you might want to save this one for later. If it's 2, 3 of you, go ahead and just have this. What I would do, what I'll be doing on Christmas Eve is we'll be putting this on a nice platter. I'm just going to go ahead and move this right here. That way you can see that. And then we have this other one over here. I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing with this one. I get a little bit of this funky membrane right here. I'm going to pull a little bit of that off. Cool. If you see anything you don't want to eat, just throw it away. And then I got this guy over here, and we're still across the grain, so I'm going to go ahead and start slicing this one. 3/8 of an inch to a 1/2 inch. Straight down. Straight down. And then this end rib typically has a little bit more fat than the other ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and check this out, and then I'm going to go ahead and pull this little membrane off right here because it's a little tough. And you'll be able to feel that when you're cutting it and slicing it and all that fun stuff. So I'm actually just going to take this guy and shave that little bit off right there. And then we have a nice piece right there. And then this one, I'll probably cube up and I'll give it to whoever's hanging out with me because the kitchen's always the best place to be. You on, Vivian?
Yeah.
There you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then that's pretty much it. So we've got the meat from our beef ribs. And then I just want to touch base real quick on this because you're all going to look at this. And it always pains me. It makes me really, really sad at the restaurant when people throw this away. This stuff is phenomenal. Whenever we do a big event and we really want to show off, we always do beef ribs. And we always slice them exactly like that. Well, part of the problem is you end up with all this membrane. But it's really not a problem because the next day, the crew at the restaurant is going to eat incredibly well. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and take all this, and I'm just going to cut all this stuff up. And we're just going to chop it. I'm going to get rid of this one because it's kind of dry and paper-like. But all this other stuff, you're going to find that it's super beefy. It's going to be a little bit chewy. And if it's really papery and thin like that, just toss it. Or you could even throw it in if you wanted to. Just depends what you want to do. So we've got that. And then what I always like to do with it is I always like to just make tacos with it. So the next day we have the carniceria right by our place. And I'll just throw some of this on a taco. And then I've got a little bit of cheese. Just because, I don't know, cheese is delicious. And then I've got a little ahi aioli right here. So I'm putting a little bit of that bad boy on there. Touch of cilantro. A little bit of grilled green onion. Oh, doesn't that look good, Viv? Mm-hmm. She's more of a bean and cheese or pork person. But anyway, so there's that taco. I'm going to try eating this real quick. Oh, let's see if that's any good. Can you see me? Mm-hmm. I don't know why I'm eating on camera, but let's do this. So good. Thank you.